Welcome to another edition of Maverick University. I'm your host, David Hallberg. Joining me today is Pastor Ed Sweitzer, pastoring the Trinity Baptist Church in Secane, Pennsylvania. Brother Sweitzer grew up in that church. His dad had started that church back in 1982 and had grown up in that ministry and went off to Bible college here at Providence Baptist College, and then graduated in 2006, I believe, and then was at that church an assistant pastor and has been now pastoring it since 2019, so a couple years now. And so I remember our days in college together. You were a married man, a respectable man, and I was the young kid. But I remember having a lot of fun together.
Oh yeah,
and
it's never boring where I am. That's
you kind of waded in amongst us young guys, and you just had a whole lot of fun yourself.
I thought that some of the older guys were boring. You know?
Yeah, you got to freshen it up a little bit. Yeah. But our topic today is talking about a pastor. A multifunctional pastor. I'm not sure how we'll title this.
Yeah,
but
a Swiss Army knife, I guess.
Yeah,
in a sense.
A lot of guys, you were saying before we started recording, we go into the ministry in Bible college, they're thinking about, oh yeah, when I'm the pastor, I'm going to have my music guy, I'm going to have my youth guy, I'm going to have my sound guy, I'm going to have my piano players, I'm going to make sure that they're on their A game for their various ministries. Yeah. But you found yourself in a slightly different role. Can you kind of give a little bit of a background? What is your church like, and what are your
Yeah, we have a small congregation as far as number-wise. A lot of really good people, and we're in a growth period right now. We've seen some people saved, right back to back. A couple weeks ago, we started a new ministry, and with Bible handouts and just seeing some growth. But in a congregation around 50 people, you don't have all of the skills needed as far as, I've played the piano for years and years, and we just have not, and I've been praying we'd get somebody that would play the piano, but the Lord hasn't sent somebody by. So that's, kind of, that's what I can do it. And if I had somebody that could do it, even I'm not that great, but if I had somebody that was skilled enough, my boys are taking piano, so there's a few other kids in the church. Their parents have them taking piano lessons, so it won't be too long. I see some light at the end of the tunnel in that area, where people will be able to step up. And special music is the same thing. I have people that do run the sound booth, but they may not have all the technical background that I have in IT or whatever, running Ethernet cables. So I kind of do some of those things. And the Lord sent a man last year. He got saved, and he's been here for a year, and he does wiring. He's a low power electrician, and so he's been running wires for me that I would have been doing before as an assistant pastor. So I'm finding the Lord is sending people in to fill these things that I was doing as an associate and as assistant pastor. He's sending people in, and some young kids are learning the piano. They'll take a piano, an offertory, or have a lady had just come. She moved to the area, and she plays the piano, and she's been playing invitations and offertories for me. So that's really been helpful to take some of that cumbersomeness away from the invitation, especially. So I found that to be really, the Lord's just really sending people in to do those things. Yeah,
as a pastor, you've got so many details to worry about, but then you can't lose the overall picture of what you're trying to do. You're talking about your church is in a growth period. How have you managed to be able to get that done despite having to play multi-roles?
It's been good to see how the Lord's been doing it, because for a while there, as an associate pastor, my dad's health wasn't there. It wasn't that great, and he had some cognitive issues, probably associated with his heart, and he ended up having quintuple bypass surgery. And just as far as the spirit of the church, we were still seeing people. He'd had. As far as baptism and stuff, there's people that are there that had been baptized in the past year of his life, and I had done some of those instead of him. But primarily, he had done most of the baptisms. He had done all the baptism as a pastor in a small church. He's been able to do them in most cases. That's how it's done. But he had done that. But as things kind of changed, I was doing more preaching, and I think I preached probably the last year of his life. I preached, I think, almost every service, except with a few exceptions, just because of his health.
Sure.
and just really not being able to. And my dad, probably the best soul winner I've ever known, and many other preachers in our area would have said the same thing. And so he had carried that burden and had really built the church and labored. And so I'm coming in kind of like the Israelites into a land, that I didn't, sow, and I didn't plow, and I'm walking in, and the Lord's blessing, and we're seeing some fruit from what He did, and people just kind of stepping up, and then others the Lord is sending in. So that's been good. But coming in, you don't know. I didn't know if I'd have a honeymoon period. I didn't even think, as I've been there 13 years, and before that, before I went away to college, I was 24 when I went to college. So I was there and was the youth director and worked and did a lot of the things that I still have done some of those things now, network-wise or whatever. And so the Lord is just taking those things kind of away from me so I can focus on pastoring. Yeah. So, and not everybody gets that, has that mentality when they go in. They, like you said, they think, I'm going to go in and I'm going to have this guy and that guy, and you have to be that guy sometimes. Yeah.
Talk a little bit about freeing up your time as a pastor. You've got so many responsibilities to do, things that have to be done, other things that are nice to, if they could get done, and you're filling all these different roles. How can you free up your time to get the essential things done for you as a pastor?
Yeah, I kind of consider myself a bivocational pastor because I teach at the Christian school at Solid Rock. I'm also their IT guy there. So I handle their network, I handle their security cameras, things like that. And I also teach, they only let me deal with AV. I teach Bible preservation, which is AV 1611. And I do audiovisual AV class in the college. And so working there, I'm able to be in ministry while I'm in ministry. And I kind of see it, almost as an adjunct faculty situation, like, a Brother Angel, a Brother Woodward, different ones that have come in. My kids are able to go to Christian school there, and it's a blessing, but I'm bivocational. They've been so gracious. I will only, as far as work days, it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, which that happened last year was the first year. And that freed up my schedule to Monday and Friday focus on our church, which I think has been instrumental in helping kind of make this transition so that I can focus on those things to free up my time. And it really is about delegation, getting people to do the things that I know I can do well, but I can't do everything well. I can't do all the things at the same time. And so being able to delegate and learning to delegate, I think really has been, this past couple of years has really been helpful. And even with COVID and everything going on, our church kind of had a revival during that period. And I think a lot of churches did, because the people that were in church wanted to be there. So I saw some growth in the members of our church, especially the men. Not that the ladies didn't grow, but especially the men. And just stepping up and taking things off of my plate that I had traditionally done as an associate, as an assistant. And so that's been a blessing.
What are some of the qualities you're looking for? And if you're going to have a task that you're trying to delegate off to someone, what kind of attributes are you looking for?
Yeah, well, it depends on the job. It depends on what needs to be done. I always say, anybody can vacuum a rug. Anybody can do certain things. As far as leadership positions, different things, I try to look for someone that is faithful to services. I don't want somebody. It's just like you wouldn't take someone who comes once a week and have them, the time that you're there, you're going to be a nursery worker, a lady, something like that. You wouldn't do that. And so I do the same thing if I'm going to have somebody work in the sound booth. They have to be in every service. If somebody's going to be doing something that's going to kind of take them out, even ushering, anything like that, obviously, I thank the Lord I didn't have to take the offering as the pastor. I did have men to do that. But if I'm putting people in different roles, they have to have every job kind of has some qualifications that go along with it. And so I kind of look for people, and especially with skills like the man I was talking about, that's low power electrician. I can say, hey, can you come over this week? And I showed up one day, I was going by the church, and he was there running wires, hooking up the cameras and stuff, and it really helped me to know, he knows what he's doing, number one, and he's not going to burn the place down, doing it.
So if you're a multi-role and it's a smaller congregation like you're talking about, even some of your church members are multifunctional type of people as well.
Yeah.
Has God brought anybody in your path in your church like that can just
we
do
have
multiple things for you?
We have a guy, Brother John. He leads our songs.
Mm-hmm.
He teaches the adult Bible class, and he does a lot of different things that just things that most, in a larger church, you would have one person, unlock all the doors or
Mm-hmm.
something. You'd have somebody, the maintenance or something like that. So I do have some good men that have, different skill sets. There's some jack of all trades kind of guys, and there's guys that have maintenance skills and repair. And so it's amazing, just like 1 Corinthians talks about with the whole building fitly joined together. Ephesians talks about that. But different members, and everybody kind of complements one another. And so we don't have two people that are alike, and everybody kind of fits in, and that's how the Lord's work works.
So, we talked about this misconception that Bible college students can have, and they think, well, that's for somebody else to learn and do when I have my ministry. But what are some skills that you wish you had, or maybe some skills that you're glad you have, and it enables you to be able to help your church function? What skill sets do you have, or which ones are you glad you picked up along the way?
Yeah, years ago, took an IT course, network and security, and that has been, in a church, being able to have, that carries over. It used to be you had your network, or you had some Wi-Fi or something, some kind of connection, or anything, just the business computers in the church. Now it's guest network, it's security, it's all of that. And so some of that, just the Lord has given me that skill, and it wasn't something on purpose. It was just the way the Lord worked. 2001 with September 11th, my wife and I both got laid off from the job we were working at the same time, and they offered a community college just course for the summer on network and security. So I just, I'll take it. So I took the course and learned how to do what I use all the time, and which is translated over to being able to help over at Solid Rock. So that's a skill that the Lord's given me. Same thing with music. Same thing. If I didn't have that ability, it'd be hard to minister. I know a lot of churches have to deal with canned music and have to have some, somebody back there hitting a button and playing, and that's hard. Tempo-wise, it's a whole lot different.
You're constrained.
It is, and I can play the piano, and I can, if my song leader, makes a mistake, I can follow him. If I make a mistake, which is probably more than the other way around, then he can adjust and kind of play off each other. Canned music, you can't do that, and so that's been a blessing. And there are things, things I wish I could do. I tried, there's always something that I wish I was able to do. I wish I was able to delegate better in that.
No, that's
as far as and I'm learning constantly. As a pastor, you're always learning. What have we done outreach-wise? We do door knocking, and we have a smaller church, but we'll have anywhere, 6 to 10 different men come out on a Saturday morning, and we do a new thing with Brother Netterville with the Bible handout ministry that he started, and that we've seen instant fruit from that. Just people coming in, hey, can I have a Bible? Just seeing the sign pulling in, and first day out. Next day, a lady that had gotten a Bible the day before walked the aisle, raised her hand, said, she wanted to get saved. My wife, she got saved. It was just, so that's been something where, we're doing something. We're knocking doors, like I think is biblical, house to house. Publicly, we've done street preaching, different things, and so those kind of things that we've done, the skill sets you're talking about, it's like, okay, well, this is something Brother Netterville's done. And I'm able to incorporate that with us, and we've just seen fruit with that. So I think a lot of pastors struggle with, this is the way we've always done it, and then not wanting to change, being averse to change.
Sure.
But that's one thing I've been learning, and change is not bad. I don't want to be one that's given to change, but there are different things that we've done that is like that Bible handout has just been a blessing.
Yeah, it's being creative. Absolutely.
Right. And using what you have, using the tools that you have at your disposal, and your facilities that we have. We've been updating and painting, and people. That's another lady in the church. She loves to paint, so she's just going through and painting, and people are. A lady visited Sunday. She's like, I like to help. What can I do? And I like to paint. And here's a lady just came to church Sunday.
Wow.
First time she just got saved. Her daughter had just gotten saved. Was Catholic, but her father was a Baptist in the area, and she came and she's like, I like to paint. I was like, oh, I got to get you in touch with this lady. So I'm watching it in real time and seeing God just bring people along, and it's just been amazing to see how He's done it.
I've always been amazed at your willingness to be involved in music. Because a lot of guys that come into Bible college, maybe they don't have any musical background. I don't think you did coming into Bible college here, but they always have this preconceived idea that, music is not for me. I'm never going to use this.
I can't sing.
But and I always think about, I always tell them like, well, let's go through the order of service, if you will. What's happening before the service starts? Oh, music. Okay, what's the first thing that happens in the service? Usually, it's a congregational song. And it just continues from there. And God has given you that skill.
And the closing, the invitation,
closing,
and or a chorus or something at the end, or anything like that. It's the Lord's blessed. And I remember, when I was growing up, I didn't play the piano. I could kind of pick out some things. But the Lord, I just prayed. I said, Lord, you got to help me. And the Lord just kind of opened my mind to music and to theory, and it's all the Lord, because as far as formal training, but the Lord just kind of opened my mind to that, and the Lord gives understanding, and so that's been, I've been able to use that, and then watch, with my kids how the Lord's. I just want to see the Lord just use them to do more than that.
Well, praise the Lord. God's using you. You're a busy man trying to fill all these multiple roles within a small congregation like that, and God certainly is blessing you for it. So thank you so much for joining us, and if you want to check out any of our other podcast topics, you can check out our YouTube channel, also the audio-only platforms as well, and we would appreciate it if you'd comment, and also subscribe, and we'll see you on another episode.